When two drunken truckers decided to mock a helpless disabled veteran in a remote village near Perm, they couldn't have imagined how it would end. A quiet whistle from the beaten man seemed like a sign of delirium. But moments later, a massive shadow darted from the darkness, and what happened next shocked everyone. After returning from the Chechen War, Andrew was a changed man. His once proud posture had been replaced by severe disability. A shrapnel wound to the back had turned the once strong soldier into someone whose life was now measured between doses of painkillers. An old wheelchair became his constant companion, and a solitary house by the roadside his only refuge. The house had been given to him almost for free. Local authorities had shown compassion to the disabled veteran. The building was in such disrepair that no one else wanted it. But Andrew was grateful. Here, away from pitying glances and awkward silences, he could start anew. Andrew had always been handy. As a child, he learned to repair equipment by helping his father in the garage. These skills became his salvation. Gradually, locals and truckers learned about the disabled craftsman and brought him everything, from old radios to car electronics for repair. Andrew never refused anyone and charged very little. He found solace in being useful despite his condition. His life flowed steadily and alone until one day, fate brought an unexpected gift. Returning from a trip to the village store, he noticed something resembling a hit animal on the roadside. Upon closer inspection, he saw a small lynx cub. Without hesitation, Andrew took the cub home. His military experience included field medicine skills, which now helped save the little predator. For several days, the lynx hovered between life and death. Andrew fed it with a pipette, treated its wounds, and warmed it with his own body heat. During these days, he recalled a strange story his grandfather once told him. How during the war, he saved a wolf cub, and it later came to his aid multiple times. Back then, the tale seemed like a beautiful fairy tale. But now Andrew began to understand that a special bond could form between a human and a wild animal. His grandfather had also taught him a special whistle, which, according to him, helped tame wild animals. Andrew began to whistle this melody to the lynx, and gradually, it started responding to the sound, approaching its savior. Weeks turned into months. The lynx grew stronger, becoming a playful and curious creature. Andrew understood he couldn't keep it in captivity. Nature was calling. But something amazing happened. The lynx didn't disappear forever. A few days later, upon hearing the familiar whistle, it returned to its savior's home. From then on, these visits became regular. The wild animal came to spend a few hours with the man who had given it life. The local police officer initially treated this story with skepticism. But one day, visiting Andrew on official business, he witnessed the huge lynx rubbing against his friend's wheelchair like a domestic cat. From then on, he became a frequent guest at the roadside house, bringing groceries and news from the district center. Life gradually improved until one chilly autumn evening when a battered truck stopped at the gate. Two drunken truckers, irritated by the long journey and an unsuccessful trip, decided to vent their anger on the helpless disabled man. The bullying began with rude demands for directions, even though the road was the only one for many miles around. When Andrew reminded them to respect veterans, it only enraged the scoundrels. One of them pushed the wheelchair, causing the former scout to fall helplessly to the ground. Blows followed one after another. The pain was piercing, not just from the beating, but from helplessness and humiliation. Bursting into the house and finding nothing valuable, the attackers began to threaten violence. At that moment, Andrew realized this was the end. And then he began to whistle, the melody his grandfather had taught him. The drunken men laughed when a huge shadow appeared from the darkness. The lynx attacked instantly. the first attacker didn't even have time to understand what happened. Powerful jaws clamped onto his neck. His partner, paralyzed with horror, watched his companion's demise for a few seconds, then fled to the truck in panic. When the police officer, called by Andrew, arrived, the scene was grim. The attacker's body lay on the porch, and nearby, guarding his friend, sat the huge lynx. It showed no aggression toward the police, but didn't leave Andrew's side until he was loaded into the ambulance. The official report described the incident in the driest terms. Death resulted from a wild animal attack. The second attacker sobered up in the police station and told the whole truth about what had happened. And the case was closed due to lack of criminal elements. After this incident, Andrew's life changed. The story of the unusual friendship between a man and a wild animal spread throughout the area. Some even considered him a special person capable of communicating with nature. A lynx continued to visit its savior, now often bringing its offspring. Local residents began bringing their children to him to hear stories about the war and the amazing friendship with a wild animal. Eventually, his home became a kind of pilgrimage site for those seeking hope and faith in a better future. And the lynx, as if understanding its special role, became the unofficial guardian of this remarkable place. Its presence is felt, even when it's deep in the forest. Local poachers avoid these parts, and passing travelers feel an inexplicable reverence when driving past the modest house by the roadside.